Success for me is when you get that magical feeling, and it doesn't necessarily mean suddenly you've got a big order come in, where everything is in flow and you are firing on all cylinders.
You can see how much this lights you up. You can see the joy. We spoke about joy, we spoke about a feeling, we spoke about, pushing through, stepping into new spotlights, becoming the new version. And if we've helped just one person, and you said we've helped you today, that's amazing, then we've done our job.
My very favourite part is where I first show it to the author or authors, and it no longer looks like that document from Israel. It looks like a book.
Welcome to the Spotlight Series, Season 2 of the Showbiz Side Hustle podcast, where each week we meet one of the brilliant co-authors and creatives behind Spotlight on Success, the PerformerPreneur book that's redefining what success looks like both in and out of the showbiz spotlight. I'm your host here, Nicole Louise Geddes, and in these special episodes we learn even more about the stories behind the sequins. Raw, honest, powerful reminders that the end of one act is only the beginning of another. So listen in as we chat challenges and triumphs and inspire you to shine in any spotlight you like. Hello listeners, today's episode is a special behind the scenes one where we're giving a well-deserved spotlight to Jo Wildsmith, one of the experts who helped bring our PerformerPreneur book collaboration Spotlight on Success into the world, not just creatively, but technically. Because let's be honest, writing a book is one thing, but formatting it, publishing it, and navigating the ever-changing algorithms of Amazon, well, that's a whole other level of expertise altogether. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we needed Jo. Jo is an Amazon publishing expert, formatting wizard, category selector, and launch guide extraordinaire. Jo has been the calm in the chaos, helping us lock and load the book on Amazon ahead of launch day, publishing, picking the perfect categories, and keeping us on course through Amazon's latest updates. Her support has been absolutely invaluable, and this episode is a chance to shine a light on the person who helped take Spotlight on Success from a beautiful idea to a published book ready to make its mark. Get ready to talk publishing, platforms, and the power of having the right people in your corner. And welcome to the Spotlight, Jo Wildsmith.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so lovely. I really, really loved all of that. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. And first off, let me thank you on behalf of all of us again for everything you've done behind the scenes to make Spotlight on Success a huge success.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's so lovely seeing everybody's work come together, everybody's stories come together. What Louisa does is incredible, the way she helps to knit it all together in the right order so that the stories flow. And it's an absolute pleasure when I get the book as a manuscript ready to format and I look through it and I'm like, oh, and I get all sucked into it and then have to start the actual work.
Well, in the book, you will have read that we are talking about success in different spotlights. And many of us talk about having success being a team effort. There's people, there's encore, there's crew, there's ensembles, and that helps us get us to where we've been. And you have been one of those people for us with the success of this book. So in your own words, Jo, what does success look like for you when you're navigating life and obviously publishing books into the world too?
Generally in life, I would say success for me is when you get that magical feeling, and it doesn't necessarily mean suddenly you've got a big order come in, or it doesn't necessarily mean you've woken up that morning and the sun's out or whatever, where everything is in flow and you are firing on all cylinders. So sometimes that could be while I'm sitting watching TV and I suddenly realize that, hey, everything's come together. And other times it can be doing something like this where I can see how much the work I've done and the work that we've done collectively means to the people I'm talking to, the people I'm working with.
I love that. And couldn't agree more. I think you'll find throughout the book, listeners, that we all talk about success differently, but actually, ultimately, it's a feeling for all of us. And when we stop chasing those spotlights and those successes that other people deem to be the right version of it for us and just really sit comfortably and authentically. And I know that you and I are doing that. You're doing that with your businesses, you're doing that with the support and the creativity. Can you tell us a bit about your businesses, Joe? Because I know you're part of the Publishing Pod and you helped get this book into the world. And that's not just the only thing that you're capable of doing. So talk us through your businesses, talk us through what makes you you.
Well, it's all very exciting because I do a mixture. So I do everything basically to do with print on demand. So it could be merchandise. So it could be having your own store that has clothing, mugs, or very random things. We have very random things in there as well. Or it could be doing a book. And the fact is that when these books, through Amazon KDP in this case, but there are certainly a lot of other providers, other publishers out there, when your book is made available and people buy it, that book is not sitting on the shelf at every Amazon warehouse all around the world. It gets made to order. And this is the essence of print on demand. And so you can do it with clothing, you can do it with books, you can do it with deck chairs if you want to. There is a whole massive and very quickly growing industry out there. And it's wonderful. It's far more sustainable. Gone are the days where you end up with 500 books out in your spare room that nobody wants and things like that. It doesn't work like that anymore. And it's a brilliant journey to be on. It's so exciting. It's constantly changing. Technology changes all the time, which makes it more exciting in a way, but also more terrifying because you've got to keep ahead of the game. But recently, I decided that I need to step into my genius with books a bit more. And that's the new things that I'm doing at the moment, which is very exciting. It means that what I do with the publishing pod can really be an intersection of all of our skills and all of our expertise.
I love that for you because you have got so many strings to your bow when it comes to knowledge in this very niche area. And I have certainly learnt so much from you all, from the Publishing Pod team, Simon, yourself, and Louisa. Honestly, the collection of creativity there is insane. And for you to be able to take your section of that and develop it even further is brilliant. And I absolutely applaud you. I'm so excited to see that fly. And we will be working again. Let's not forget that because we're doing a second Spotlight on Success book. So this whole process will happen again in January 2026. So that's exciting. So it'll be great to come back together as a collection of people, myself, Simon, and Louisa, and bring the next book to life with our up-leveled kind of understanding of everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be so nice because what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to make it consistent with this first book so that it will really look like a full series. It'll flow beautifully. And you know how I love a bit of flow. It will be spectacular and it'll look beautiful and I shall be able to format it in the same way. So it just matches. It'll look so good.
For those listening, many of whom will not have ever published a book, will not understand the process of publishing a book. They now have met you, Joe, and they're kind of curious and thinking, right, what does this entail? Do I need Joe or can I go it alone? FYI, you need Joe. But if they were to choose to go it alone, can you talk us through some of the intricacies of publishing a book on Amazon?
First of all, I love that you're the voice of experience now. After having seen the process, you're like, right, oh, yeah, you need Joe. So that's great. So what my process is, it comes to me as a big Word document. And if you ever saw the Stephen King film Misery, and there's the guy with his typewriter and he has this whole pile of papers, it's like that. Okay, we're doing it on our computers nowadays, but it's like that. It comes to me and it looks like that. It doesn't look like a book at that point. And so I'm the person who takes it through that stage, turn it into a book. I use software to do that, but also the software has its own tweaks and things as well that take a little bit of getting used to. And there are rules in publishing. There are things called widows and orphans and all these strange little quirks that have come up throughout the years as language has developed. And getting your head around that and getting to know all of that, that takes time. So that's the first thing I do. And I also do another proofread because, like, hey, you can't have enough of that, right? And I make sure that there's a consistency so that the titles are all the same, bullet points are all the same, italics, inverted commas, things like that. It's really important to have that consistency, and it really helps that I'm a very fussy Virgo. I'm very, very picky, and I can't read something that's got a spelling mistake in it without commenting on it. I am probably quite annoying, but it works really well for this particular part of my world. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is then download that and get it ready. So I know by that point how many pages there's going to be. So then I can send a template over to Simon so he can do a book cover. And he's already at this point been working, in your case with you, to find exactly what you like. And I know you've already spoken to Simon, so you will know and from your own process just how involved that was. So then we know we've got this ready, we've got the book cover ready. So in theory, we've got it ready to upload onto KDP, which is the next stage. And if you haven't already got an account, I will have a Zoom with you and chat with you to get that open and show you how to do that. But then there's this little thing called categories, and Amazon, it's all to do with categories and keywords to get your book found, but it's also to do with that elusive bestseller and to get listed in the bestseller ranks. And it's important that when we put you in categories, your book in, well, not you, your book in categories, it needs to be relevant to what the book's about. Yes, I could have put your book in woodworking for beginners that love parrots or something really random, if there is one. I doubt it. And yes, you'd have got to number one by selling one copy, but that's not good enough. It's got to be accurate and it's got to be relevant. And that is where the art comes in.
Well, and it was a painstaking process, sorry, get my words in the right order. You and I sitting together and you guiding me on what that process and what those keywords should be so that we can be found. Because ultimately, like you say, this book needs to be found. It's been written from the heart by all 14 of us. It's had, your expertise, Louisa and Simon, all invested in this. We need this to do and to become the ripple effect that we all hope it will be. And that would be impossible without those keywords, without those searches, without that Amazon algorithms and Amazon gods working on our side. So again, it sounds like a simple process on paper, and then you get into it and you start to do it. And I was working alongside you, and I was like, my goodness, I am so glad that I have an expert in my corner that is doing this on behalf of all of us. So again, thank you from all 14 of us, because none of us, and said with love to the other 13 authors, could have done this in the very detailed and simple way that you managed to do that for us. It would have been an absolute mess. I can just guarantee. One, and first and foremost, because all of us in the book will admit that tech is not our thing. Like creativity, yes. Dance steps, yes. Public speaking, okay. But technically, we're all a little bit on the other end of the spectrum. So thank you. What's your favorite part of that whole process that you've just spoken about? Because there's a lot to it. What's the bit that really lights you up?
My very favorite part is where I first show it to the author or authors, and it no longer looks like that document from Misery. It looks like a book. And they're like, it's a real book. It's like Pinocchio. It's a real boy. It's amazing. That to see people's eyes light up like that, I give them that gift. And really they've given me that gift because they've given, yeah, I haven't written any of the book, but they've given it to me. I've done my magic with it, and then I give it back, and suddenly the possibilities, the reality hits home. We've done a book. It's amazing. And it's just the same with the merch side, with the online stores. It's very easy to say to people, oh, you do a design and you choose which t-shirt you want to put it on. But then when they press the button and suddenly they realize it's on a shop that's available online for people to buy around the world, it's like, what? It's just that revelation, that oh my goodness. what have I just done? That's incredible. And that's the bit I love. I also, however, do love the categories because it is an art form and it's a bit of a game, and you can use different tools. There's different tools available, but at the end of the day, you always have to go through and check and be really thorough, make sure the tools are up to date and everything like that. And the other thing that happens is the categories we pick determine what Amazon decides to put the rankings for all around the world for every Amazon. So it's really important. If you want to be able to rank in other countries, you don't really have much of a say about it at all. The only bit that you control is your own marketplace. So we've got to do something in a way that can filter out and work everywhere.
Brilliant. And we do have some international authors as well. We've got Bunny over in Zurich. Sorry, I couldn't think where she was. We've got Deirdre in Ireland, and we've all got contacts across the world, haven't we? I've got a lot of people in America that work with me and from my past performing days. So yeah, so it's important that they can find it too, absolutely. And I'm sure everybody's got family and friends. But more importantly than our small circles is that ripple effect again, and the fact that we want this book to reach as far and wide as possible. Because, well, I'm going to ask you, Joe, who do you think the book is for? I was going to say because these are the people that need to read it, but when you've read the book, and obviously it's niche down and aimed at performers, but when you've read it, what do you think and who do you think can benefit from reading our book?
I think it goes way beyond that. I mean, I myself, obviously, I've read it inside out and back to front now several times, and absolutely, it's entertaining and interesting for everybody. First of all, we're all really nosy. We all want to know what people's lives are like. We all want to know what goes on behind the scenes and things like that. So, from my point of view, who's been to shows and those people up on the stage, you think, are they actually real people? How do they get up and do that? How are they brave enough to get up and do that and that kind of thing? And to be able to read those stories and see see the vulnerability in people, but also see how they've overcome things, see the trials and tribulations. It's fascinating just from a biographical point of view. But also there's so much inspiration in there from a business point of view as well. There's so much with me launching my new services at the moment, I got from that, right, okay, take a step out, step into the limelight, because I'm guilty of not doing that. And to read about these people who are human beings, they're not just these shiny people up on the stage, they really are human beings. I think it's come at perfect timing for me.
That's
And
amazing.
I think it'll do that for other people. Absolutely. It's so although yes, you could say it's in a niche, it will help a wider audience and it will certainly entertain a a wider audience too.
And a Wildsmith audience, actually.
Wow. Yeah, the Wildsmith wordsmith strikes again.
We will all collectively be thrilled that that helped nudge you. I'm sure you'd have done great things with or without reading our book, but just nudged you into that spotlight a little bit further because that's where the magic happens. I mean, everyone can see if you're watching listeners on YouTube or go pop over and meet Joe in person on YouTube. You can see how much this lights you up. You can see the joy, and that's another word that all of us used. There was so much synergy with everyone's chapters. We all wrote individually, but we spoke about joy. We spoke about a feeling. We spoke about pushing through, stepping into new spotlights, becoming the new version. And if we've helped just one person and you said we've helped you today, that's amazing, then we've done our job. But we're going to help even more thanks to you helping us to get that book onto the right categories to create that ripple effect around the world. So listeners, if you are around the world and you found our book and you found our podcast, please do like, share and comment so that we know who you are, where you are and how we've helped. Because I, for one, will be ecstatic to know that you have found and enjoyed our book and our stories and our highs and lows and our trials and tribulations and our successes. It's such a roller coaster of a read, Joe, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. And isn't it amazing to think of somebody in so many different places all around the world holding the book? I, yeah, I just love that. We can do that. We can do that. It's amazing.
We can do it, and we're so glad that we found you and the publishing pod. And I'm already thinking, t-shirts, deck chairs. I love that. Performerpreneur deck chairs. I think that's the next thing for me. But isn't it crazy that, nobody knows what what is possible until they start to be curious, until they start to hear. And even, we're talking about the book and being curious in different spotlights, but just even listening to you today, Joe, your mind then goes off on a tangent. It's like, what else is next? What can we do together? And I love that about collaboration. And that is why I brought people together to write this book, because the more minds that can come together, the more opportunities and the more options we all have. So, how would you like to finish this podcast, Joe? What would you like the listeners to know and learn from you? Obviously, we need to put in the show notes where to find you. So, please do verbally say that as well, because I know some people like me might not read it. They'll just want to hear it and then instantly go find you on social media or websites. So, please drop that as well. But let us know what you think has been the best moment of this experience. Would be lovely to hear, and also what you would like your legacy of this podcast to be.
Well, before I move on to my legacy of this podcast and the best bit, I will say something we've alluded to. We're talking about merch and things like that, and different services, things like audiobooks and things like that, all possible. It doesn't end with a bestseller. I am absolutely passionate about. And it feels like it's my mission to say to people, it's not just all about the bestseller, it's about where the book goes afterwards, it's about who it reaches, who it speaks to, who it helps. It's about the stories from the people who are in the book and about how it helps them and how it helps their influence, it helps their visibility and everything. There is so much more to it than I'm a number one bestseller. It goes beyond that. Yes, that's wonderful. It will never stop being wonderful. It's great to be an Amazon bestseller, but there's more to it than that. It's way beyond the headlines, and I want to get that message out there. I am absolutely determined that people know that. So
I will help you shout that message from the rooftops. I am your biggest cheerleader. That's one thing people say about me, my energy and my cheerleading. You need accountability and support. I am the lady for you. And you're absolutely right. This podcast is now months after that launch day, and I am still pushing the book. We are still pushing the book. We're working on some products, some services, and to keep that limelight on the right arena, the right piece of the puzzle, which, yes, is the book. But now we're opening up some exciting new doors and some new avenues for myself and the authors. And again, thanks to you and your new arms of your business as well with the merchandise.
fabulous. It's amazing, amazing how things grow from the book itself. There's just so much more you can do. It's not just about that little gold badge. Mind you, that's nice. I'm not going to say it's not nice, or the little orange banner. Obviously, that's lovely too. So, my legacy, where I want this podcast to go, I want people to know that I've just said, but also obviously come and check out the publishing pod. What Louisa and Simon and I do together is it's the intersection is the best word for it, really, of all our expertise. We bring all our best games to the table. So it hopefully, from your point of view, has been a lovely experience. We hope so. We try to go above and beyond to give you that wonderful experience, and hopefully you will find the same if you go on and do other work with Simon, if you go on and do other work with Louisa, and if you go on and do other work with myself. It's all three of us have got that same kind of mentality, that same kind of belief that we want you to have a book in your hand that you love and you want to tell the world about. I don't want you to hold a book and then go, oh, I just don't like that bit on page 17. I don't want that. You've got to be proud of what you've achieved because it's phenomenal.
Thank you. And if you listen, listeners, to all of the podcast interviews in the Spotlight series, you'll hear, Joe, you'll hear that You absolutely hit the nail on the head. You've got it completely right with the Publishing Pod, because every single author is so ecstatic with the final result, with the process. Just listen, because there's 14 authors and every single one, although we say it differently, says the same thing. It's been an amazing process. It's been amazing to hold our book in our hands, and we don't want the feeling to stop. So that's why we're pushing for even more ripples in even more directions. Jo, drop us your social media, your website, your new website, like put it all there so that we can put it in the show notes. And then people who want to experience what I have experienced working with you and what the whole team have experienced working with the Publishing Pod, where they can find you to explore that as well.
So you can find me on jowildsmith.com. That's Wildsmith, Wildsmith, wilder than the average Smith. And I am Jo Wildsmith everywhere on social media as well.
Brilliant. I'm sure you'll have a load of hits now, because the theatricals listening, they love a new spotlight. So why wouldn't we all want to write a book? And yes, go find Jo and work with her or the Publishing Pod. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, if you haven't already bought the Spotlight on Success book, go buy it now. It's inspiring for all ages, all ideas, all crossroads. And we absolutely want you to have that in your hand and experience the joy that we have from writing it for you to read it. Thanks, Jo.
Thank you.
There you have it. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Spotlight series, where stories shine and success gets redefined. If you loved what you heard, hit like, follow, or subscribe. And be sure to grab your copy of Spotlight on Success over on Amazon. And don't forget to tag us at PerformerPreneur across all socials. If you've been inspired today to step into a new spotlight, you can find a whole community ready to support you at performerpreneur.co.uk, as well as up-and-coming events and even more about each author. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and continue to shine.